break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants. Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird, too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
And so, goodbye. And good night. Bang!
Settle! Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Yes, man! What the Rock is cooking!
Now welcome to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
right, everybody. You are listening and watching us on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network every Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock West Coast Pacific Time, as they say. I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to another episode of Off the Mat, the only wrestling talk show here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I am your host, Mr. Josh Silverberg. Joining me at this time, of course, my tag team partner every Saturday down in sunny Florida. Although I don't know what's going on with those Tampa Bay Rays, but it is what it is at this point. Mr. Alex Slows. What's happening, man? Absolutely. Like you said, Alex, we have so much in the second half of the show. Of course, we're going to get into our favorite fall pay-per-views. So we're going to dive into that. We also have the G1 Climax is set. I have the finals with me. They're all set. We're going to get into that later on. And we had a big heel turn. I'll give you a hint who the heel turn was. I'm wearing his t-shirt. And it's a little outdated now because he's no longer in this group anymore. So yep. So we'll get into that a little bit later. We're going to, of course, recap NXT and do everything like that. But before we go to that, let's do a little bit of the house cleaning, Alex. Let's tell the fans where they can hear us and listen to us. You can hear and listen to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope. We are on every platform. Download our app. It is free. The app is free. I can't stress it enough. Just type in WWSRN. WWSRN. If you have an Apple phone, if you have an iPhone, I don't know, Apple phone. I feel like I'm 60 years old when I say you have an Apple phone. If you have an iPhone, just go to the Apple Store. If you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store. It's that simple. Just click download. You could get our show schedule. If you missed our show, you can rewatch it. You could listen to it. The audio, the video. You can see mine and Alex's beautiful faces every Saturday at 12 o'clock. It's wonderful. We're not in the wrestling ring, so we're not getting punched around every time. So it's faces you get to see. And just like I said, you get our show schedule. You get the different shows that are out there, from Wise Guys to the Sports Hit List to Below the Mic, down to the Wire, the Ryan Hickey Show, the new Fantasy Sports Show, Weapons Hot, a New York Jets show, the BS Sports Show, and it was awesome. If you didn't know, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of information. I'm actually a special guest this week on the Weekend Crunch. The show's usually with Errol Marks and Eric Coleman. So you'll want to tune to that. I can discuss the New York Jets and the disaster that they are, the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets. So I got to talk about that. But you get to just have our show schedule, the show content. Alex has written some amazing articles for the website as well, for the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. So you want to check those out. And again, worldwidesports.com. Check out our website. All that good stuff that we have. Check us out. Check out other shows. Support us. We love to hear from you as well, the fans. Alex, tell the fans how they can get in touch with us. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, like I said, we want to hear from the fans. We want to hear what your opinion is. And Alex, I was actually going to tell you this. We have somebody that actually next week I'm going to try to get him to hop on with us. His name is Keith Farrell. He runs the podcast. It Ain't Easy Being Green, which is a New York Jets podcast, but he's dying because I got to be on his show this past week. Alex, he is dying to pop on with us. He's been watching wrestling for over 20 years. He's still watching it to this day. He's dying to come on the show with us. So I told him straight up, I said, listen, if you let me on your show, I'm sure Alex and I would love to have you be a guest on our show to talk. He's gone to all the indie shows. So he lives out in like Westchester, so he goes to like all the indie shows. I believe he was actually at John Moxley's last indie show against when he faced Pentagon in the main event, which is a crazy main event. But he was at that show, so it's crazy. So I told him maybe next week he could pop on with us for sure. And look, like I said, people like that, we want to hear from you. We want you, you know what I mean, with strangers. And I think it'll be awesome to have him on. All right, Alex, let's get into it first before we begin, before we do our AEW NXT recap. I want to get to something with you, and that's in regards to and look, I agree with you 100%. I know the New Day, you think didn't get their proper send-off. Well, I think they finally got it last night in their last tag team match together when they beat Sheamus, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown. Alex, did you think it was the right send-off for the New Day, or do you still think it was kind of blech? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And also, really quick, I have people texting me, what are those shirts on my phone? I went WCW theme this week. I got Sting over here, and I got Hollywood Hogan over. I'm pointing it wrong. I have Sting over here, and I have Hollywood Hogan over here. Alex, I figured you'd like this one. The Hollywood. It was so funny because when I bought that shirt, I bought it at WrestleMania 35 at MetLife Stadium. And the guy that was selling me the shirt, I'm so mad at him because he told me, he said, oh no, this shirt is exclusively for WrestleMania weekend only. And that was such a lie because I went on the WWE shop the next week and it was there. You know what I mean? So, lies, so and so. I actually went out buying 2 shirts that weekend. I'll show you the shirt I bought. I bought a Mr. and Mrs. Met WrestleMania shirt that weekend because the Mets were sponsoring WrestleMania that weekend. So that was kind of cool. And that's my old Sting shirt. I keep pointing my fingers wrong. Sting. I keep doing it. This is Hogan. This is Sting. See, but I look so stupid though when I have to look this way. You know what I'm saying? My guy, look, and then of course I got this is my original Will Ospreay shirt. This is back. I bought this shirt when Will Ospreay, nobody even really knew who he was. Alex, you wear that shirt to sleep. You wear it for breakfast. You wear it to the gym. You wear it to work. You wear it everywhere you can. I'm just kidding. You wear it to the McDonald's drive-through, and you people off at McDonald's, and you say to them, "Hey, listen, I'm going to show some violence if you don't order your damn food." All right. So I'm kidding, but we're getting to the Will Ospreay stuff and a little bit later on the show. But let's start with AEW, Alex. And like you said, I thought you thought it was a very good show. I thought it was too. What did you love about the show this week? Is it crazy to you, Alex, that it's already been a year since Dynamite started? It really did, and it's amazing. Coincidentally, I was talking to Keith about it. Keith Farrell, who will join us next week on Off the Mat. And Keith to me said that Keith's words were, I remember the first day AEW started and everybody was saying they thought it was going to be like a WCW kind of thing. And he knew right off the bat with the roster they had, it was too deep to not be successful. And I agree with Keith 100%. And I know, Alex, you're a huge supporter. Look at, and my wife decided to pull this out, Alex. So this is the other shirt that I bought WrestleMania weekend. Because pretty much the Mets were sponsoring WrestleMania that weekend, and they actually had a Todd Frazier bobblehead that I have as well. I hate Todd Frazier, but I like the bobblehead, so it's cool. But I bought this at the WrestleMania Superstore at in Brooklyn, and then that's the back, which is kind of cool actually. It's like a jersey. It's a shirt and a jersey. But I was so cool that the Mets sponsored WrestleMania that weekend. So thank you, Melissa, for that. Appreciate that. See what I mean? My wife hears me. That's how loud I am. So she always says to me, I'm so loud. She goes, "Why are you so loud?" And I'm just, it is what it is. But anyway, going back to what we were saying in regards to AEW, we look back at the roster that they have, and you see the development, and it's kind of crazy because think about this, Alex. Okay, hear me out for a second. They've signed Brody Lee. They've signed Eddie Kingston, Brian Cage. No, those were the ones on the original roster, but I'm talking about the ones that they've recently signed, like Parker, Eddie Kingston. Who did I say? Brody Lee, the FTRs of the world, Ricky Starks, and it's crazy because another one, and none of those people, Matt Hardy, and none of those people have had their debuts in front of big crowds yet. That's the crazy thing. I'm so curious what's going to happen when they do have the big crowds back up and running. But again, the only fear that I've said this to you, Alex, on this show many times is, and I want to get your thoughts. Do you think their roster is too deep where guys are going to be kind of squashed down? Because look, Lance Archer, so far in his two biggest matches in AEW, he's lost the TNT Championship match to Cody, and now he's lost the AEW Heavyweight Championship match to Jon Moxley. Although, my thoughts already, I think Kenny Omega is going to be the guy that eventually beats Moxley with help from the Young Bucks, and they're going to form the original Elite. Do you think the roster is so deep that guys are getting, and girls too, are getting squashed down on the pole, and even Miro as well, are getting squashed down the roster where it maybe is too deep and guys just don't have enough room right now to be on this roster? Yeah, I believe she did beat Britt Baker, yes. I agree with you 100%. The thing that scares me, and look, I don't ever find it to be a problem. You also saw Matt Cardona have a 5-match contract. I don't think it's a problem that AEW signing wrestlers left and right. I think you have to you have to have a roster. That's the biggest thing. I want to see Lance Archer win a big match, though. I mean, look, I think the best thing they did is they built Lance to look strong in his match versus Moxley, and he lost on a roll up. So they built that perfectly. I thought that was fine. That was great. Perfect. You know, but it's a matter of certain wrestlers. See, I don't know if I agree with you on Miro just yet, Alex. I gotta wait and see with Miro. I think he's got to ditch Kip Sabian. He doesn't. Yeah, and he will get there. He will get there. They're just building it up right now. Look, I think Miro's done enough. Where, in my opinion, he was so over when WWE released him as Rusev. And remember, I said on the show here weeks ago, I said, I can't believe WWE dropped the ball on this guy. This was a guy that I think they could have built as a heavyweight champion, and the fans would have went bonkers for the whole situation. But I like AEW's route. Look, their tag team division is insane. I mean, it's crazy how well. Absolutely, and you could say the same thing about NXT with their women's division. Remember, we got so nervous because wrestlers were getting called up left and right, and then boom, out of nowhere comes Tony Storm and Ember Moon back. That's how you build a division, and that's the way it goes in this wrestling business. You have to the biggest word I like to use, Alex, in wrestling is replenish. It's replenishing the roster. You got to replenish it when certain wrestlers get called up or certain wrestlers get hurt or certain get released. You got to maintain it. Maybe AEW's tag team division is a little too crowded, but I mean, we'll see. I know they're doing I believe they're doing the Fatal 4-Way match. Right? I don't know if they're doing it next week. The one that they announced this week, where they did you see who's in the first round? They're doing Phoenix and Pentagon are in the first round. Look, I think we know what the finals are going to be. I think it's pretty much. I mean, Alex, tell me if you agree with me or not. I think the finals is going to be Hangman versus Kenny. That's where the storyline is going to cultivate. It's going to culminate at Full Gear. And then that's when I think you're going to see Kenny as the cleaner, and the Young Bucks are going to come out, and they're going to be like the original Elite. And that was interesting. I was watching yesterday. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, if you're a New Japan fan, you should definitely watch it. Alex, I know you're a huge New Japan fan. Wrestle Kingdom 11, way back when the main event was Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and you watch Kenny as the cleaner, and you watch the Young Bucks as heels. The original Elite. That was the original Elite before Cody, before Hangman, before Marty, Skrull. That was the original. I mean, I wear their backpack to school where I work. To school, like I'm like a kid. Before to work, I have the original Elite backpack. And you watch them as heels, and it fits so perfectly because the Young Bucks are such douches as heels in New Japan, where they constantly, when they go to super kick somebody, it was see ya. Yeah, exactly. And I just think, and Alex, I know we've said this, I think Kenny as the cleaner and the Young Bucks as the former heels that they are would be such a great coup for AEW. I think you're bringing it back to where the original Elite started. That was how it was. I love it. I think now I know it seems like I said remember they were randomly drawing tag teams for this. I believe it's a Fatal 4-Way match. I believe they did Private Party, the Young Bucks, Butcher and Blade, and who was the other one they said? Go for it, man. Underrated. Well, they're a replica of them. That's a replica of them, of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. That's what they've been compared to. And I think, like you said, Alex, I think Best Friends is so underrated in this division. They're so, with Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, I think they're so underrated in this division. And with Orange Cassidy with them, I think it makes it so much fun to watch. They get better each and every week. They've been perfect since Ring of Honor. So, yeah. That's the second time limit draw Cody's had this year. The one with Darby Allin too. I didn't like it. I would have been fine with Cody just winning it. You knew he was going to win it because they spoiled it in saying that I believe next week who Cody was challenging already. They spoiled who was going to win the match or it was going to be a draw. So I just thought that was terrible job by AEW to do that. You don't put an ad like that during a match because you're spoiling who's going to win or who's going to come out on top. So I didn't like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably full gear. Yeah, probably full gear. That would probably be the full gear match. I don't think that's going to be the main event. I think the main event that I would probably go with them, I think they should, is if Hangman and Kenny are in the finals for the championship opportunity. That should definitely be the main event of Full Gear. It should not be Kingston versus Moxley. And Alex, I've said it many times on this show. I think Kenny's going to be the one that defeats Moxley. And that's the way. That's the route I think they're going to go with all of this in due time. But look, I like the AEW this week. I enjoyed it. I like the 1 year anniversary show. And I think they're building it more and more each week. I mean, you're seeing it. Brian on Twitter constantly gives the viewership numbers. They're not reaching the 900,000 number. Okay, they are doing all right. NXT unfortunately is not doing well with the viewership, which is really unfortunate. Personally, and Alex, I know you've agreed with me on this many times, where I think NXT should just move to Tuesday or Thursdays. I don't think they should do Wednesdays anymore. I think they should just do Tuesday or Thursday. Probably Tuesday because of Thursday night football. That they would get crushed in the viewership with Thursday night football. So I think Tuesday would be ideal for them. I think NXT should just be Tuesdays. Let AEW be Wednesdays. It's a win-win for both parties. There's no reason to continue the competition anymore. But look, Triple H has said it. He's not leaving Wednesdays for a while, and that's fine. He's, he wants to keep his head up and moving forward, and I respect that. But at the same time, you got to benefit what's best for you and your company, and I think Wednesdays are just not working for them, and that's just that. Let's get into NXT right now, Alex. I liked it a lot. I did. I think they're really. I use that word again, Alex. I use the word replenish. They're constantly replenishing that roster because guys and girls are getting called up every single week. What were your thoughts on NXT this week? Not yet. The only team they have faced well they beat Imperium, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. I really think that's all they've faced so far. I don't really think they have faced. Did they face? But they didn't defend the tag team titles against them though. I don't. Yeah. So, are you talking about defending the belts, or are you talking about just facing them? Just facing them. Okay. No, I don't think they have faced Undisputed Era yet. I have to look back. Hmm. Absolutely, and I think it's interesting. Everybody's saying, "Well, where's Red Dragon? Why are Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly not teaming up?" Well, because Kyle O'Reilly just fought for the NXT Heavyweight Championship and has some injuries. And look, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong have held the tag team titles together before. I actually was at one of their defense matches that they had at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. I believe it was 3 when they fought Mustache Mountain. And it was a phenomenal opening match with those 4. And, with Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. And, when you see the thing about Undisputed Era, it doesn't matter who's tag teaming with who. The chemistry is there. They know. Absolutely, and all 4 of them know each other, Alex, and that's really what it comes down to. And it's actually coincidence because when I was watching Wrestle Kingdom 11, one of the matches that was on the card was for the Ring of Honor World Championship. It was Kyle O'Reilly, the heavyweight champion, versus Adam Cole in the Bullet Club, and they had a huge rivalry, those 2. So those 4 know each other well. They all come from Ring of Honor and New Japan. They've known each other for years, so it doesn't matter who's teaming up with who. Look, I had Red Dragon as one of my top tag teams in the world, and I still think they are. But Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong are fine tag teaming with each other. And it was actually, it was actually Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly that were the tag team, not Bobby Fish in that match against Mustache Mountain. But my point is, they could tag team with whatever. They're tag team specialists. It doesn't matter. So. Agreed. And it will. I think it will. Hmm. And they will, Alex. They definitely will. In due time, they will. Look, he's so young. I think he's 20. I don't want to get his age wrong. I think he's 23 or something, but he's so young, Alex. He's gonna get his time. He will. They're grooming him, and that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, look, he's already had singles matches against Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole. So clearly, they see something in him where one, they see a future in this kid that they're giving him these kinds of matches against these competitors, but 2, they're also letting him, have the opportunity to face big names and get him to the point where they feel. I think he's a future NXT heavyweight champion in this company. I do. And absolutely, because Alex, so you look at it too. Look at it this way: if they didn't believe in him, would they be giving him matches versus Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny, Adam Cole? No, they wouldn't. So again, this is, and also Dexter Loomis as well. He fought Dexter Loomis. So you look at it that way. And then really quick before we go to break, I know you want to bring up the Dexter Loomis Damian Priest match as well quickly. Sure. I like that, by the way. I like that happened. No pun intended, right? No pun intended by you. Something is looming for Dexter Loomis. Is that no pun intended, Alex? Did you? Yeah. I like it. You know what? I thought it was really good too, and I enjoyed it very much. I really did. I thought it was awesome. I thought the match was solid, and I think the rivalry is going to set the tone. Clearly, Johnny Gargano is also not done with Damian Priest because they had a little bit of a tiff at the end of the show. Yeah, spin the wheel, make a deal. Yeah, yeah. And they're going with spin the wheel, make the deal. There you go. I like that. And they're going with spin the wheel, make the deal for Halloween Havoc. So we will see. All right, when we come back, we still have so much to get to. We're going to get to This Week in Wrestling History. We're going to get to our fall pay-per-views. Okay? Not pay-per-views of all time. I need to emphasize that. That Alex and I think that you should check out. And we're going to give you an update on the G1 Climax for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And boy, the finals are set. It's a good one, but there was a big heel turn that happened. Check us out. Finish up with us, okay? This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better, and kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a price. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
Bias, Alex. That's bias on your part because it's Tampa. That's bias on your part. That's why you picked it. How? For Alex. I love it. I love when Alex puts the names. Yeah, who cares exactly? Rusev won. Absolutely. And Alex, you mentioned some names too. You mentioned some AEW wrestlers as well. You mentioned Rusev, who's now Miro in AEW. You also mentioned Neville, who's now Pac. He's in AEW. Aiden English is now wrestling on the indie scene. I mean, Sami Zayn, Bo Dallas. You mentioned all these names. It's crazy. And even the women's division, like Charlotte and Sasha Banks losing a tag team match, you wouldn't even ever think. So I think the card was interesting. I think it's great. That's old NXT. That's from when you said 2013. Yeah, that's old school. I mean, that's you're really getting into the. And they do have those matches, by the way. They do have those matches on Network. Yeah, they do. So it's kind of cool. So definitely you want to go back and check that out. That was awesome, Alex. Thank you for that. That was great. To Japan. But you know what? Who cares? Rusev won the match, so it doesn't really matter. All right, Alex, let's get into it, man. Alex came up with a great segment that I think is interesting, and I think it's an awesome idea. So at first, when I saw it, Alex threw it at me. I said, okay, best pay-per-views of all time. I had to read it clear. Best fall pay-per-views of all time because we're in the fall. So instantly shows you probably think of, and Alex, tell me if you agree with me here. You probably think of Fall Brawl, Halloween Havoc, Series. Oh, that's interesting. You did great. So see, I'm going to mention, when you're done, I'm going to mention 5 shows that I picked that are not really well-known shows that people should check out. And I want to hear what your list is first. Okay, so that's interesting. So you mentioned a couple of shows that, in your opinion, which are known shows. I'm about to throw shows at you, Alex. You're going to fall backwards on your chair. And you know why you liked your shows, and I'll tell you why I liked mine. All right. So one for me, it's an obvious one. Survivor Series 1990. That's The Undertaker's debut. Survivor Series 2002. AAA. So AAA, if you don't know what AAA is, it's a Mexican promotion, Lucha Libre. AAA Worlds Collide 1994. TNA Turning Point 2009. And Ring of Honor Man Up 2007. So Alex, do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? Do you want to hear my reasons, or do you want to go first and do your? Yeah, for sure. So for me, I mean, look, 1990 Survivor Series, it's pretty easy. The card is cool, but look, The Undertaker made his big debut. And that's something I think that's going to be remembered in wrestling history. When you look back on it, you're going to want to tune into it. You're going to want to see what it looks like. I mean, Brother Love was his manager. That's how far back it goes, before Paul Bearer even existed. The card is okay. You have Hulk Hogan, Tio Santana, the Ultimate Warrior. The faces always won their matches. That was really what it comes down to for a series. Yeah. I remember all that. I remember he had to go. Hogan had to go through this maze or whatever it was to get to the Taskmaster to get to where he wanted. So another one I'll throw at you again. Turning Point, TNA Turning Point 2009. Now there's 2 matches on this card that you look back on. Now the card is but there's 2 matches you need to check out. One match is Kurt Angle versus Desmond Wolfe, who is now Nigel McGuinness. We all know who Nigel McGuinness is. He's the announcer for NXT UK, for NXT, for NXT General when he's there. So Kurt Angle and Desmond Wolfe had a great submission match. I watched this whole pay-per-view. I've watched all these pay-per-views, by the way, from start to finish. I sat there and I watched it. You have to check out this main event. For the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, it's AJ Styles as the champion defeating Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe. If you haven't checked out that match, you're missing out. You need to watch it. I remember watching it live. And I went back and I rewatched it again. It was awesome. And it's amazing because those three put the X division on the map for TNA. And now here they are main eventing a pay-per-view. Those three had an unbelievable rivalry. They were best friends, so they knew each other really well. So that's a match you gotta look back on, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Match was so that match was so bad though. Yeah, it's a legendary match. It is. I agree with you 100%, Alex. You would think when you hear those two names, you would think it should be legendary, but the finish work out for sure. Um, Survivor Series 2002 for me, it's quite simple. The card is not very good, but the main event is awesome. And if you notice my trend, Alex, my trend is this: the shows aren't great, but there's one or two matches you gotta check out. This was the first ever Elimination Chamber match where Shawn Michaels, who had just come out of retirement, defeated Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kane, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam, and this was at Madison Square Garden. Check out that match. The match was insanely awesome. When you look at those competitors, that was, again, this was the Ruthless Aggression era. So like I said, when you look back on it, if you had never seen that match, go check it out. It's awesome. It's worth watching. I remember that. And yes, it did. It absolutely did, for sure. I'm gonna go over AAA When Worlds Collide, and this is from 1994, and this is something that people need to look at because when you think of the cruiserweights that happened growing up, who's that like, you know what I mean? When you look back on this card, it's crazy. You have Psychosis on this card. Rey Mysterio is on this card. Two Cold Scorpios on this card. Tito Santana's on this card. La Parca is on this card. Eddie Guerrero is on this card. Conan is on this card. And these are young, up-and-coming cruiserweights that want to be in huge deals in the wrestling business. So this is a card that I watched from start to finish. And this is something that I think many will like, they'll check out, and I think they'll enjoy it very much. That was AAA Worlds Collide 1994. Yeah. It's phenomenal. If you've never watched AAA and you've never watched, well, Lucha Underground doesn't exist anymore, but they had it, I think, on Netflix for a time being. If you never watched those two shows, go watch them, especially AAA. AAA is phenomenal. It's unfortunate. They were originally going to be at Madison Square Garden last year. They were going to be in the big arena, and unfortunately, they didn't sell enough tickets, so they had to move to the theater at Madison Square Garden. Because they didn't sell enough. And they tried, and I get it. That was worth an effort. I was going to go to the show, but it was, AAA is, I think, getting better all the time with developing superstars. there. Yeah. Yeah. The last one for me, because again, Alex, like you said, we're short on time and we're going to get to New Japan. It's his Ring of Honor Man Up 2007. Again, Nigel McGuinness, he's on the card. And excuse me, we all know who Rocky Romero is, right? Who Rocky Romero is. He defeated Matt Cross in a match. Austin Aries defeating Davey Richards. How about this one? You have Roderick Strong defeating Eric Stevens for a match. Takeshi Morishima, who was an underrated Ring of Honor World Champion, defeated Bryan Danielson, better known as Daniel Bryan, for the Heavyweight Championship. But the main event, and I've seen this main event, it's unbelievable. It's the Briscoe brothers, Mark and Jay Briscoe, defending the championships against Kevin Steen, better known as Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn, who in here was El Generico. That was the main event. It was a ladder match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. The Briscoes versus Kevin Steen and El Generico. Awesome, awesome, awesome show. You need to check this out. If you want to see some of wrestlers in NXT, even AEW, they're here. They're on the show. And New Japan as well, because New Japan has a partnership with Ring of Honor. But you'll see a lot of their NXT guys came from Ring of Honor. So absolutely. It's a little harder to find. For sure. It's easier to find yours, Alex. It's a little harder to find mine, but I bet you could find them on YouTube somewhere. YouTube has everything. All right, Alex, let's get to this quick before we get to our finishing move. We just got to update the G1. For those of you that haven't watched it, you could sign off now because we don't want to spoil it for you. The finals are set. It is going to be Kota Ibushi coming out of Block A, going up against the man who came back from the bottom in Block B, Sanada. Sanada is in the finals for Block B. So it is Kota Ibushi versus Sanada in the finals for the chance to fight Tetsuya Naito at Wrestle Kingdom for the IW. It already was decided. It was decided this morning. Yeah, it was done. Sanada won it. Sanada was at the bottom, won it. He won his match. Naito lost, and I believe because Sanada beat Evil, I believe, therefore Sanada wins the tiebreaker. So Sanada is now the winner of the B block, and he'll fight Kota Ibushi for the right to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match opportunity at Wrestle Kingdom against Tetsuya Naito, which would be very interesting because that's another LIJ member that Naito would have to face. What are your thoughts on that finals matchup? I think Sanada wins it. I think Sanada's going to win it. I think it's going to be a change-up by New Japan. I would love to see it. It's a matchup people have been wanting to see for a long time, Sanada versus Tetsuya Naito. I think you're going to have an all LIJ main event at Wrestle Kingdom, which would be phenomenal. I want to see it. I love here. I want to see somebody different. The bigger thing, Alex, I want to get to with you is, look, we saw a heel turn during this tournament, and that is Will Ospreay beating Kazuchika Okada yesterday, turning on him with B. Priestley and I forget his name, Ken Okar, I believe his name is, who wrestles in Rev Pro, was a guy wrestling in the dojo for New Japan. He comes over, he's helping out Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay has officially left Chaos. He basically told Okada after the match to go bleep himself, not once, but twice, saying, "You held me back." I am so ecstatic for this rivalry between Okada and Will Ospreay. I'm excited for Will Ospreay to be a heel. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Yes. Yeah, Ospreay won the match, but unfortunately, he didn't have enough points. Therefore, Ibushi won it, but that's okay. Now you get an Okada Osprey rivalry. Remember, I asked you weeks ago, what's next for Okada? It's interesting. Well, now we have the answer. It's going to be Okada Osprey for the time being. I can't wait. You're also seeing kind of Jay White and Evil throwing shots at one another as well. So it looks like there is a little bit of a dent in the armor for Bullet. Going to be a little civil war there between Jay White and Evil, which is going to be so much fun to watch. I can't wait. It's going to be something that I think we're excited for. Let's get to it, Alex. Let's get to our finishing move, man, because we're short on time. It's crazy. We had a great jam-packed show today. Let's get to our finishing move. What's yours? It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I like it, Alex. Absolutely. I think it's great. I'm a little curious about the serious part. I like his character the way it is sometimes. I think he's funny. I think he's the funniest guy in the New Day. So I'm curious to see how they go about it. But look, we'll see how they plan it. Mine is the G1, and it's finally finished. And we saw some twists and turns in it. You're seeing Evil and Jay White. You're seeing Okada and Will Ospreay. So new rivalries were formed during this G1. It's not, and I think you're going to get Sonata Ibushi. I mean, I think you are getting it, but you're going to get Sonata that I think is going to win it. I know you picked Ibushi, Alex. I got Sonata, and I think Sonata's going to get a shot at Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I'm wondering if it's going to be the double gold um, against each other at Wrestle Kingdom. I can't wait. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be awesome. But it's going to be awesome. But that's our show for today, everybody. Please, again, don't forget to download our app. All right. If you have an iPhone, all right, go to the Apple Store. If you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store. All you have to do is type in WWSRN. That's WWSRN. You type that in. The app is free. You get our show schedule. You get all of our list of shows that we have for you, from the Wise Guys to Down to the Wire, Below the Mic, Ryan Hickey Show, the BS Sports Show, the Fantasy Sports Show, Weapons Hot, and New York Jets podcast. The sports hit list, everything, and then some. So it's not just wrestling we have on you. We have everything for you to check out. Articles, again, Alex has written amazing articles for the website. Type in worldwidesports.com on your, on the internet. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube. We're on every platform. Alex, how can the fans reach us again as well? We want to hear from you. Listen, we hope you enjoyed today's jam-packed show. It was awesome. Alex, always a pleasure, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Don't work too hard. All right. Have a good one. I hope you had a wonderful birthday last week as well. To the fans out there, thanks for lending us your ears for the last hour. Take care. Have a great and safe rest of the weekend. This is Off the Mat on